So without a doubt, the biggest talking point after a very controversial and sensational British Grand Prix this afternoon is without a doubt, how on earth did Nico Hülkenberg get a podium finish? Yes, the man finally got a podium finish in Formula 1, but that's a topic for another video. In all seriousness, probably the biggest talking point really is whether Oscar Piastri deserved a penalty for what happened at the safety car restart. One of many safety car restarts, a lot of safety cars and VSCs during this race because it got very wet at different points. We had drivers, in particular rookies, well, solely rookies actually, crashing out of the race, and yeah, many different restarts because of that. But should Piastri have been given a 10-second penalty for what he did against Max Verstappen at one of those restarts? And this was a crucial penalty because he ended up serving at his final pit stop to go onto the dry tyres, as the tyres, of course, were finally starting to come into their own. Some drivers like George Russell and Fernando Alonso, of course, pitted a little bit too early for those dry tyres. And when it was time to pit for the dry tyres at the end, Piastri served his 10-second penalty by doing effectively what's like a 13-second pit stop in the end, and Lando Norris did not. Lando Norris came out in the lead, and Piastri was behind, and unfortunately Piastri did not have enough pace to actually catch his teammate up. So it was a decisive thing. It was crucial for the victory of the race. It was going to be McLaren 1-2. Those two absolutely miles clear of the rest of the field. I think they were like 30 seconds ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, who finished in P3. That was not a joke at the start, by the way. He did finish in P3. Check out my race review if you haven't already, but we'll be doing a separate video just going over how incredible he was during this Grand Prix. But let's keep it focused on the McLarens here, because yeah, incredible stuff really. And when the penalty got announced, I was like, what on earth is going on? How are you giving a penalty for that? It's rare that we really see penalties for safety car infringements like this. Normally it's if you're going too fast, if you're, beating the delta time. Anybody who's raced in the F1 game will know that, of course. You normally see those kinds of penalties, or if you're leaving a 10 car length gap or more to the safety car. Both of those are pretty typical infringements, the latter one being a little bit rarer, but I can't remember a time when somebody's actually been given a penalty for going a bit too slowly, slowing down a bit too aggressively is the term that the stewards would use on this one. And I must admit, when I first saw it, I thought, nah, come on, man. Come on, that is not a penalty. No way in a month of Sundays is that a penalty. But I have seen things back now. I haven't seen an onboard from Oscar Piastri's car. I don't know where this onboard is. It seems to be under lock and key. I don't know if the camera's malfunctioning on his car. I have no idea. But I haven't managed to actually find the onboard there. However, thanks to Sky's race control of Anthony Davidson, I do love watching his stuff. I think he's brilliant, to be honest with you. Without a doubt, one of the best people on Sky coverage. No doubt about that whatsoever. He basically compared the laps between the safety car restart and the lap prior with Oscar Piastri, because Oscar Piastri basically, in the eyes of himself, he basically saw himself as slowing down just like he did in the previous laps. The only difference is that he became the safety car for the final lap before the safety car restart, so he sets the pace. So in his mind, he didn't do anything wrong. He slowed down just like he did on previous laps at that part of the Hangar Straight. But the video camera does not show that really. It very much looks as though he did brake very aggressively relatively compared to the previous lap, because basically, you can weave around, you can test your brakes out just to make sure everything's keeping temperature in, because even in these wet conditions, or especially in these wet conditions I should say, you really want to get as much temperature into the brakes and the tyres as possible. So that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to look after his race, but unfortunately I don't even think it was a case of Max Verstappen accelerating, because I thought Max Verstappen believed that Piastri had gone. He'd bolted, and now was the time to do the restart, but it wasn't. I don't think Max Verstappen really accelerated towards that. If he did, then it'd be a different story. But I don't think he did, and that is why Piastri got his penalty. And 10 seconds, is that fair? I mean, we'll have to consult the menu just to be sure on something like that, but I don't have it handy, unfortunately. But yeah, 10 seconds to me, it seems harsh for that, but it could have easily caused a crash between Verstappen and Piastri. Then you probably say that it was 10 seconds, and the stewards say that they don't judge the results of the incident, they just judge the misconduct in this case. So yeah, maybe 10 seconds is a fair penalty in this circumstance. I feel gutted for him still, though. I really do. He drove fantastically today. Before the first safety car came out, he was like 13 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, who was in second at that time. So I feel for him. I really feel for him. But unfortunately, that is how the cookie crumbles. And I think the stewards have a justification to give him a penalty. Whether a 10-second penalty is just or not, I don't know. I still don't like the penalty, but I understand why they gave it. But guys, let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you have to say about this incident as always. It's going to be a controversial one. It's going to be one that really dominates the airwaves and the interwebs for the next few days. So we've got 3 weeks until another race in the calendar. It's going to be a long time for us to kind of stew and marinate about this, for lack of a better term. But yeah, what a race. I think we can all agree on that. What a race this was. But yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this, guys. I've got plenty of content coming in this little mini break, including the mid-season review, the mid-season grades that I did last season. I'm going to be doing it again, and I'm looking forward to it. So, see you soon, guys. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday wherever in the world, and let's hope for some more incredible Formula action when we get back to racing in 3 weeks at Spa.